Hello, 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 and welcome back to the second episode of Uni-Fied. I am Charlie, I am your host for this week.
Oh, are we supposed to introduce it? I didn't realise we were doing it that casually. Fair enough.
I was just sort of waiting for you to say...
I was waiting.
No, please.
To be fair,
I'm
last
here
time
with
was like,
Keir.
I'm here with, yeah.
And also, to be fair, if you're going to, put the burden on yourself of saying, I'm hosting this week, and then just saying nothing after.
Boys,
Okay,
please.
so we'll go again. I'm here with Keir.
Hello, my name's Keir. I didn't...
And Sam.
That was awful.
Hello.
Hello, guys. Thank you very much for that. We got to work on that intro.
Yeah.
Only 2 episodes in. Whatever.
We'll get there.
Filled up a minute of our time, though. Not too bad.
It has.
Sam's already thinking of targets.
Only 29 minutes left to go, boys. Not too bad.
Should we play Spot the Tory?
Yeah.
Just...
Ooh.
Ooh, sorry.
Ooh.
Edgy.
Ooh.
No, I'm really sorry.
Politics.
Comments are coming out.
How have you guys been? How has your week been?
Been pretty good, thank you, mate. Not much going on. Strikes and all. But yeah, other than that, been a pretty chill one. What about you, Kid?
Well, I've had 2 essays due for consecutive days. That's been fun. 4 o'clock sleeping, getting up at like 9 just to carry them on. Because, to be fair, my own fault. I hadn't done them at the time that I probably should have.
We are first year, well, I have to tell you. So
it's uni life.
anyone who's listening
fortunately
is
got them done pretty early.
yeah. Anyone who's listening, who is older than us, would know that, or will probably think that we have it very easy.
That's true.
With
yes.
the occasional essay here and there, but right now it feels like it's quite a lot of work, really.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the older students that I do speak to, they still seem to struggle to meet deadlines in the same way. But I'm guessing it's just that they've got a bigger workload, so they feel like it's more of an issue for them.
Yeah, a dissertation like a 2,000-word essay aren't quite comparable.
Yeah, no, I get you. It's my source use in my essay was quite liberal. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, it's your method of doing it. So, I mean, Keir, why don't you go ahead and tell us how you do your sourcing in your essays?
Because that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I was about to say, I can't tell if this is either really boring or I'm just getting called out on the fact that I
make
don't
it fun.
do it properly.
Make it exciting.
No, to be fair, the best thing to do is you find someone who's already written an essay and you just follow all their citations, and that just gives you however many sources you need. At that point, you're fine.
Boom.
Done. Sorted.
That's uni solved in one.
Yeah, we have solved uni.
And with that, that's your uni guide portion of the week done.
God, that'd be awful. Like an agony aunt.
We could start doing that actually.
Yeah.
Every week we whip out, a uni life-saving tip from people who have just done loads of uni.
It's the one thing we're knowledgeable on.
First use at Pollock, giving advice to people on uni. Here's what it's like to survive with £5,000 in your pocket. It's quite difficult. Yeah. Going out to all those jujus, Speaking of which, Pollock TV filming a 2nd episode. Absolute hit series.
Just for a bit of background, Pollock TV was a show that was done by a couple of, I believe, 2nd and 3rd years, recording a lot of the people from Pollock, which is a first-year accommodation, recording them about to go on a night out to the final night of Juju's, which is a club night last semester.
That's quite well known. See, I was amazed about how far the news about that went. It solidly went to Glasgow, Aberdeen. There was my mate up in Aberdeen. He was saying that people up there were talking about it.
Oh, made it down south too.
Made it down south as well.
Well, all I really thought of it was as a just ripping apart people who really just are quite out of touch with life.
Yes.
So it's not really specific to any one university. It was just entertaining for everybody.
I guess exactly. So, but I do think Pollock has almost got it's such a uniquely haven of upper class English in the middle of Edinburgh in Scotland, which I think kind of and I'm not. That's not me being anti-English or anti upper class. It's just generally it does make it kind of special for a Scot. Edinburgh does have that unique atmosphere to it that it is a little bit more English, maybe apart from the borders. But again, I spoke to Sam, and Sam had no idea that the border regions existed. Because when we were speaking about it, you thought the border ended just about...
What?
As in, I didn't realize. I thought Edinburgh was literally on the border. As I thought, Edinburgh is like the first thing you do when you get to Scotland is you see Edinburgh, at least for the eastern half of the country.
I mean, I suppose that is kind of understandable, isn't it?
What have you been
it's
to?
Just a bad knowledge of geography.
Charlie, have you been to the borders or heard about it?
Well, I've driven through the borders in order to get to Edinburgh, but I've never been to border towns or border cities or whatever.
So there's three like constituencies or like three areas or regions in the borders, and it is generally for a Scottish person who lives in the Central Belt. It's a massive notable difference. You go down there, and it does feel like not a different country as such because it's still Scottish, and you can still tell that people are Scottish, but it's not what you're even used to when you go up north or something like that. It is almost like expectable, but the further north and further south you go, you get less and more so Scottish.
So Edinburgh's almost like that pocket of Englishness in the middle.
It's an enclave. We'll put it that way.
Yeah,
a surrounded
especially when we're in, the most English southern part of a fairly English, relatively southern uni. And by southern we mean sort of London-y. Yeah, it's true.
But hey, whoa! There's an awful lot of southern England that isn't London.
Oh, but I think that's the general gist. When we refer to the south, we're not quite
you can refer to the south all you want to, but there's the southwest.
Yeah, we're forgetting you guys.
I do find it funny when I speak to people from England, and they all got different ideas. Not mentioning names, but like you've got a couple of people from Newcastle here, and you ask them where's the south, and they say like just below Yorkshire or something like that.
No. They say just below Newcastle.
Just below Newcastle. Oh, yeah. That's harsh.
I know. No, Newcastle have a very small idea of the north. The north is Newcastle, maybe a bit below, all the way up to Scotland. It's a very small area. Whereas, generally it's a bit different. Like, I suppose for like Southerners, it's the north starts just above London. That's a bit of a difference there.
I went to Northumbria a couple of years ago. It was my mum's first time like properly organising a holiday on her own. And we were living, I can't remember where we were nearby, but it was like a relatively large town, not like a city. And we met people there campaigning for Northumbrian independence. With a good solid like 60, 70 people, which to be fair, for like an independence movement that I've never heard of, coming from a Scotsman, that's quite impressive.
Weirdly, coincidentally, I was actually looking at this today. There are very many just lesser known independence movements just all across Europe that I hadn't ever heard of. The whole of the south of France there's a
Occitania, I think it's called.
Occitania. There's an independence movement in South France. I thought, wow, that's insane.
This is literally my bread and butter of things that I'm interested in. But you find some really you do find some really straight, or just like bits of countries like there's some people probably know about it. There's a part of Italy that wants to join Austria, which just in your head you don't normally connect them as something that would go together. But
are they border each other?
Yeah, they border each other.
They do.
Mm-hmm. And the entire
yes, they do. Okay. I was confused.
Exposing our knowledge of geography, Charlie.
But you don't,
my knowledge of geography is not that bad.
You don't think of it.
I suppose moving on.
You don't think of Austria and Italy as like, but I mean, when you actually have a think about it, you're like, yeah, they're quite obviously close together. But on first thought, you're like, nah, there's no way that they've got something in between them that stops them. But yeah, the region of, I think it's either South Tyrol or North Tyrol, it's one of them, that is like vehemently Austrian and have a very bad relationship with the Italian government because of it.
Wow.
There we
I'm
go.
Looking at this map again, and I mean, all of Spain wants to be independent from Spain.
Must be a Spanish thing.
Andalusia, what's that? Castile, Leon, Aragon, all these places. I don't think anywhere wants to be Spain.
See, you have to remember, for a country like Spain, it came into existence not by like the UK level where it was, unless you ask a bit like really strongly feeling independence person in Scotland. It was a willful and cooperative joining of two countries, while Spain was like put together by conquest and marriages arranged without public consent.
The more you know. The
More
history,
you know.
bit of history lesson.
Yeah,
Of course, none of us do history, so you're learning from people.
I do.
Who,
I do modern Middle Eastern history.
Oh yeah, Spain. The
Spain.
height of, the modern Middle East.
I think.
Yeah, that is true.
Sam, I think you would find
when I think of the modern Middle East, I think of Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Madrid.
Madrid.
Yeah.
Speaking of arid, rocky climates,
of course.
Did you see that there was a new Mars rover?
Nice little segue there.
What an amazing segue that was. No, I
I'm not
find
going to top
interesting.
that.
Just really quickly going on.
I mean,
sorry, Sam, go ahead.
If you're gonna talk about space for a bit, I was going to say it's not quite my cup of tea, but yeah, you carry on.
No, I'm just going to really quickly mention it. Is like, I actually no. I mean, looking at it, like
you could say we're touching new ground.
Wow,
talking about space,
a new frontier.
It is a new frontier. Oh.
Sam, why are you? I want to know this. Why does it not excite you? Like the idea of like landing something on a planet, like even somebody
You're never going to live there.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool.
It's not going to happen. No, but we don't even explore the Earth, man. I'd rather we know a bit more about the ocean than we knew about space.
That's fair.
Yeah, I know.
But
I think it's kind of overrated. The whole like Elon Musk hype and that sort of thing. I just think, I've never really followed any of it.
Don't insult Elon. I do.
I knew you'd be one of those.
I do love that whenever he announces an idea, there's always a lot of people who always like point out that he's just suggesting something that we already have, but he's just making it sound like it was his new car way of like. He was like, yes, they're roads, but they're underground. Have you seen them? They're like you're driving on a road, and then you go on a little pad, and it like takes you down into a lower road, and people are like, yeah, that's called a tunnel. And you don't need the pad thing. You can just go on the road normally.
No, I can understand. Yeah. I actually share Sam's sort of dissociation with space a little bit. At least with sort of that level.
I think it's amazing.
In that, I mean, I understand. I recognise how amazing it is to sort of get to space and all that, and the science involved and maths involved is mad. But when it comes down to it, I mean, how much does what it essentially is an automatic car driving around Mars? How does that affect my life?
Would you care more if they found life? If they found life, would you give a shit?
They're not going to find life on Mars.
Right.
Well, yeah, of course.
Okay, but they're not as immediately like Mars is like just the stepping stone. Like if they were just to land something on like I don't know, what's it, Titan, and they were like found fish swimming underneath, would you give a shit?
I don't know. I don't think they're going to find life, anywhere, like within our lifetime. Let's say there's no like any like communication or anything like that we've ever received.
Are
we putting anything out?
The in your lifetime part is like the bit I'd agree with. Like the likelihood of us finding anything by the time that I'm dead is unlikely.
Yeah.
Oh, I reckon they're going to find something soon.
I do as well.
I do. I really do.
It depends. Like, when's the Titan probe is supposed to launch like 3 years time, and reach in like another 3 years after that. That would be.
Where's that go? Saturn or something?
So yeah, that's the moon that has an ocean.
Oh, I suppose the Titan actually.
It's got
I didn't realise.
It's an ocean moon, so it's got like an entire ocean underneath it with like geothermal vents and stuff. So it's like it's our most.
Oh, so there might be stuff there.
Yeah.
So it's a Titan. So it's not like a Mars rover. It's a Titan sailor.
Yes, but that's ages. That's ages away. I'm not like a massive science. I'm not really interested in science, to be honest. It's not one of those things that I'm massively interested in. But I do find it amazing. Like the pure scale makes me a little bit uncomfortable when you actually think about how big it is.
Didn't they have a test to name the Mars rover? Isn't it a British rover?
No, it's an American one.
Oh, right.
You might be thinking of.
I'm pretty sure there's a British Mars rover being made.
Oh.
And it was named after a famous Briton. I can't say I know. But they had a big competition to name it. But I mean, obviously, I think Rover McRovery or whatever it is.
Yeah.
No, Rover McRoveface. That's what it is.
Well, that's
but they said they couldn't actually do that, so they then named it something else.
Yeah, well, that you might. I haven't heard about Rover McRoverface, but I know the Boaty McBoatface thing was was like an Arctic something or other, I believe, that the US made. Yeah. But that could have been the UK.
Do you think that naming competitions are forever doomed now that we've had at least one instance on it? There's no way they're ever going to get a serious vote now.
Well, no, not necessarily, because I'm sure that they always have fun ones as well as like more serious ones.
Yeah.
And that being said, they also probably only realistically use like one or two of the ones that get put forward by the public, because they probably have their own ideas about what it's going to be anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so Boaty McBoatface was an English one. I was wrong about that. It's a research vessel, like, that sort of explores underwater and in the Antarctic, not the Arctic.
Oh no, that was going to be a boat. It was going to be a huge boat, and then they said, "Oh well, we can't call it that." So they called it a submarine.
That's on the
Boaty
auto sub. It's on the RSS David Attenborough, or Sir David Attenborough. So maybe I wonder if that's what was named. That's what Boaty McBoatface could have been, but instead was named more appropriately.
I am actually really glad they called it the David Attenborough in the end. I think it is like a lovely.
Sir David Attenborough.
Sir David Attenborough.
Sir David, not Sir David Attenborough.
I do think one of the like. I think he is very appreciated, but I think he will. I think when he sadly passes away, people will just realise how much of like an icon or like a revered figure he was.
Yeah.
It's very rare we get.
No, I think a lot of people recognise how important he is now. Well, not necessarily important, but recognise how significant he is now.
How British he is.
I guess what I mean is like, it's not very often now that we get wholesome celebrities, and is it?
That is debatable. That's very much debatable.
I'd beg to differ with that.
Who would you say is like a significantly wholesome celebrity that's arisen recently into fame?
Lewis
That's
Capaldi.
Entirely true.
Yes.
Oh my god, his speech at the Brits, magnificent. Especially, I think.
No, I think more often than not, most British celebrities are wholesome.
Yeah, that's very.
Well, speaking of his other Brit Awards winners, you've got Stormzy and Dave are both very wholesome characters.
Okay.
I think they're great icons. Along with Lewis Capaldi.
Here's a difficult one. Outside of like the arts, so like presenting or like public figures in a way that's not like for their craft. How do I word this? Like, so not a singer, not an artist, but someone who like
you're discounting quite.
Someone who's like an influencer, we might say.
I think they're not famous enough.
Along the lines of politicians,
or just like social media stuff. Like, you think about like what David Attenborough does, like presenting and being like a public figure. He's not like an artist in terms of he's not an artist in terms of like singing or painting or even the cinematography part. He's a presenter, someone like that.
He's still a media personality.
Yeah.
I think you're kind of looking at this the wrong way, perhaps. They're all essentially, these people are all celebrities. David Attenborough is a celebrity. He's not like he's I don't know. I'm sure he has like a great degree from somewhere, but it's not like he's a scientist.
Yeah.
And so like Brian Cox or Stephen Hawking.
I'm pretty sure David Attenborough is a scientist.
I mean, it might be a climate scientist.
Zoologist.
I don't claim to be hugely knowledgeable on David Attenborough.
Maybe,
but I can't say I.
Is he?
I got some quotes.
I'm going to guess he's a zoologist.
I just wish the world was twice as big and half of it was still unexplored.
Oh, that's nice. He's so wholesome. He's such. He just does. He doesn't seem like the sort of person who will have a scandal after he's dead. If that makes sense. Not to be morbid about it.
We hope so. That would be
rather you hope
shocking. Not. Yeah. Oh yeah. We hope he doesn't have a scandal. Is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Speaking of Lewis Capaldi though, his Brit Award speech we were talking about, he's just my favorite part of that was seeing the amount of people, particularly on like Twitter, Americans particularly, who just did not understand his British, if not Scottish humour. Have you not heard it?
No,
I'll try and remember it. Like, so he won 2 awards. First award he came up with a
okay,
and or you can start. He stood there for about 20 seconds making weird faces, and then just went, "Thank you very fucking much," and then went back down. Second award, they had to bleep that on national television, obviously. And then his second award, he stood up and he said,
"Not quite like this podcast."
And he said, he stood up and he said, "Oh, people think that this song, because it was about someone you loved." He said, "People think this song is about my ex-girlfriend, who you can see on Love Island every night. But it's not, it's about my dead gran." At which point, there's like people going a little bit, if you're not British, there's people going like, "What's this guy on about?" And he went, "It's about my dead gran, who I hope ITV never contact for a dating show anytime soon." And then he said, "I'd like to thank my mum and dad for making love, and my gran for And he looks at the camera, and just gives him a squint face, like, "I guess dying." And there's just like this, like he was up on stage with a bottle of Buckfast, by the way. That was another great part. But it was the outpouring of them.
Which is a popular alcoholic drink
in Scotland.
More in Scotland than anywhere else, but yeah.
Pretty much exclusively in Scotland. I've never heard of it before. Thing.
Yeah, and then obviously it's actually from Devon.
It's a surprise.
Which is, of course, that makes so much sense, doesn't it?
But it was the outpouring of American and some English Twitter just going, like, "What the fuck is he? Who let this boy on stage?"
See, that's weird. Now, would you... I mean, I find that hilarious, of course. I think most people would find that really funny.
Yeah.
It's very aligned with British sarcastic humour.
Yeah.
But is that wholesome?
It's Scottish wholesome.
I guess.
It's its own specific brand.
As a Scotsman,
you know,
there's wholesome, and then there's other things, and then
I would say it's wholesome, but then again, I'm a Scot, so I guess I'm a biased example in terms of what you're saying.
He's not on the same David Attenborough level of wholesome. That's true, but I'd say it's definitely a Scottish wholesome.
If I was to explain like how that's Scottish wholesome, like at the end of the day, if you think about it, he's still trying to thank his gran. It's just that he is, like, as Scots, we're very blunt to the point, and the fact is that essentially what he's thanking her for doing is dying. Which, morbid as it is just like how Scots work with their thinking.
Hey, you can be morbid and wholesome. There's nothing wrong with that. Dark humour can be very loving and sweet.
One example of it is a Lewis Capaldi, of course.
I'm sure there's other examples in there, but I can't pull them off the top of my head. Maybe I'm not wholesome enough.
No.
This is an interesting question I had for both of you actually on the topic, because it's obviously with the current political climate in Scotland, it's a bit of a tetchy issue. How proud do you feel of having certain Scottish British celebrities such as Lewis Capaldi, Andy Murray, Chris Hoy? Like as someone. Like, how important do you see them as, like, celebrities? Do you go, wow, I'm really proud that we have Andy Murray as a British guy?
We do. We're keeping Andy Murray
of course.
The divorce settlement, of course. You know.
Also, Sir Chris Hoy and Sir Andy Murray, please.
Hopefully, Sir Lewis Capaldi soon.
Andy Murray. England will never let Andy Murray go.
But, like, for someone like
he's too essential for tennis.
I don't know. That's a really tough question, actually. I mean, I suppose it really depends. Unless you always think about our national identity, surely, I mean, you just value them as major British sportsmen and artists who have done very well for themselves and ultimately play for the UK.
Right, on a serious note, no, you're right. It's obviously we don't see them, as Scottish. Yeah, but I don't know how it works the other way around. For let's say English sports legends or things like that. But yeah, I think it's obviously like we don't really have that idea about they're Scottish when we're English. It's just they all represent the UK.
But then you think about somewhere like, I don't know. This is hard because I don't really know many other examples. But say someone from Bavaria in Germany, should someone who lives in Berlin then want to support the Bavarian celebrity as a German? I mean, yeah. I mean, it really comes down to, do you see the regions as part of the country or not?
I think
it's an interesting.
I think it's on a different level, because I remember when Germany won the World Cup, Bavarians were like, I remember watching an interview and they were being asked about Thomas Muller's performance, who's a German centre forward who played very well at the World Cup that they won. And well, I'm not just explaining.
Hey, I don't know much about football, so you're explaining
when they
to me
were
as well.
asking people, and there were quite a lot of people that said, "Oh yes, I'm very proud that he's German, but I'm also very proud that he's Bavarian." So I think in most situations like that, people are proud to have them as a national person. So, for example, like, you might be proud. Oh, sorry, as a Scotsman, I'm very proud that Andy Murray, won stuff for the UK, like won the Davis Cup. But I'm also really proud that it was a Scotsman doing it, and you can't really feel disattached from that, just because, I guess, because we, in all honesty, if you're going to be blunt about it, we produced less. Just like as a population calculation, we produced less celebrities or important sports people and stuff like that.
It's an interesting note, yeah. Yeah, I guess you have that sort of like that heightened sense of national pride, I suppose. Well, I think because you have like sort of Scottish nationalism is sort of like a greater thing maybe than like English nationalism, I guess. You know, like in a lot of Scottish places, you have, you know, sort of you have the flag everywhere. Isn't it? In England, it's, you know, the whole, it's like Union Jack. It's kind of, you know, UK nationalism.
Well, I also just think it doesn't go around the other way. You were saying that you like value Andy Murray as a Brit as well, like almost first and foremost. I don't with like someone like what's his my name's completely blank from English fly half that scored the winning drop goal.
Oh,
Charlie,
that's me.
What?
England. Someone was on his phone.
Stumped.
I was not thinking about that then.
English fly half scored the winning drop goal in the World Cup final. You won.
Yes, I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
Why is it you're the most
funny. Johnny Wilkinson.
Right.
Johnny Wilkinson.
I love that you take.
I was blank.
Yeah,
my mind went blank.
And that should have been one of those things that just came to mind immediately, but it didn't. But yeah, what I'm saying is, like, I don't look at Johnny Wilkinson and go, I'm really proud of him, because as far as that, like,
but fair enough.
I would say,
wait, he's an English guy, right?
Was he captain at that point? No, he wasn't. But he was the guy who scored the winning points in the World Cup final to win England the World Cup.
But presumably he played for England.
He did play for England. On that point, I think maybe you don't view him so much as British because of Scotland's, you know, significance in international rugby.
Right, yeah, no, I agree.
And so when you think about England playing Scotland or Scotland playing Wales or Ireland, England, or whatever, anything like that, you forget that ultimately we would all be British as well.
To be fair, I think the more unionist you are, the more you feel attached to certain joint successes. So obviously Scotland has not qualified for a Football World Cup since 1998, and there are a lot of like national Scots who, when England went to the World Cup, you know, that there was the jeers around the World Cup when there was like Scots buying Croatia jerseys, hoping that they knock you out.
Yeah.
But the more unionist you are, the more you feel proud of the English team, because, as Charlie says, we're not represented, and it's almost like that's the closest thing we've got. Like I'm sort of mixed about Scottish independence. I wanted to see England win the World Cup, which is a controversial thing, but it's. But at the end of the day, like, you know.
Yeah.
All right, I'm taking you to a completely different place now, away from sport. So, I don't know if you guys. I assume you guys.
I
have
don't
Netflix.
know, but I
Yes.
do watch Netflix.
Okay, have you watched Love Is
No.
Blind?
Oh.
I've heard of it. I feel like I've heard of it.
Wow.
Okay, so this was like a romance program, sort of like Love Island type thing, that's only just come out on Netflix, and honestly, it is mad.
It is so funny. I've only watched a couple of episodes, and I seriously
Give me the
think
premise.
it's honestly one of the weirdest shows I've watched.
So the premise is, now I've only been watching this because everybody else has been watching this. Bear in mind, the premise is, it's these like, I don't know, it starts with like 16 guys, 16 girls, whatever, fewer than that maybe, 10 guys, 10 girls.
Yeah, I think it's 10.
And they live in two halves of a building. And they can go into little pods where they can then, there's like a transparent-ish wall where you can then talk to a guy or a girl on the other side. And the whole point of it is that they sort of try and get married to someone that they can't
Right.
see.
Yeah, you have to propose before you are able to sort of meet
Fuck
them in
off.
person.
What?
You know, you have to propose to them based entirely on their voice and your sort of how well your personalities fit together, I guess,
This-
and what you talk about.
Yeah, well, I mean, I haven't finished it yet, but honestly, it is
Okay.
weird.
That premise?
But then again, I suppose, yeah, I mean, that's not the whole thing. They then proceed to see each other face to face and then get engaged and married in
Drama
like 3
ensues.
weeks' time. And
I hate shows like that.
dramatic
But
and-
the premise on its own is great.
oh, it seems awful, but they're really
But what I mean is,
so
like,
entertaining.
you have me
Yeah.
on the premise until you sit down to propose. Like,
Oh, that's the whole.
Well,
That's,
that's
that's
the whole
only
point of it,
two
is
yeah,
like,
that's what I
episodes.
mean. Like, why is
Yeah.
it in such a
It's-
short period of time? Like,
Well, the whole point is they have to sort of get married go from meeting each other to getting married in about 40
That's
days. I think it
awful.
is.
that
Something
is
like
awful.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, I think the soonest a couple get engaged is after like 2 days.
Yeah, very, very fast.
But then again, so I was thinking about this whilst I was watching it. In order for someone to sort of go on this program anyway, you'd have to either be pretty weird or just be incredibly unlucky
Yeah.
with love anyway.
I think it's all staged, to be honest. Those people are all too attractive to have had zero luck with any sort of
No.
relationships before.
No, don't tell me
Also,
that.
It's
even
Sorry,
think about it
interesting
being
point.
staged.
Both of those.
But
There
honestly,
is a chance that they could also be motivated by the standard thing about going to reality TV shows. There's a chance that you'll get a lot of followers and sponsorship deals and stuff out of it if people take to you. But about it being staged,
yeah.
I've seen
it could
that,
be
that's what it is on Love Island in the UK. But this one is an
Oh.
American program, and I don't think they honestly care about sponsorship deals or anything. They seem
I
like they
can
want to get married.
understand it more now. You tell me it's American, and I don't mean that in an insulting way. I just mean that Americans, there is like, I sometimes find it weird. Like, I've got a couple of friends in the US, and they say like, "Oh, my friends like really find it difficult because they cannot find any guy that likes them," and like they're good-looking people. So I don't know if it's like our standards of beauty is kind of different, but also like what Sam was saying. What Sam was saying about like it being staged, like people can't, they're too good looking to be like unlucky. There's almost like people sometimes exaggerate how bad their situation is in terms of I can't find anyone who likes me sort of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will tell you next week
You're
how
very
it
good.
ends up if you don't want to watch it yourself.
Yeah.
Because currently
No,
they're meeting the parents of their significant other.
you make me want to catch up now.
And
I'm
it
only
really
2
is.
episodes in,
It is exciting, to say the least.
I think.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to episode 2 of Uni-Fied. Please, again, let people know. We're budding and we're new, and we're very excited to have you listen to us. So rate us 5 stars on everything. Click like on whatever podcast service you're listening on. And thank you guys, and goodbye.